Good morning, everybody. Today, God gave me a really cool illustration, and I wanted to kind of share it with you. As you can see, it's a beautiful view that I'm giving you. This is what God kind of illuminated for me today. I was reading in John chapter 15, verse 8, where Jesus says that we should produce fruit. That when we do, it's to the glory of God. And one of the things he talks about is the fact that when we produce fruit, we show that we're disciples. We're truly his disciples. And so this tree has been kind of what's illuminated in the yard. And if you see, there's other fruit trees. There's pomegranate, there's grapes. This is, I'm not even sure what this is. I think it's lemon and apple. But none of them have fruit except this tree right here. And it's kind of cool because when God showed me this, he was showing me what happens when you're a baby Christian. This is a baby. I think it's a satsuma tree. And the reason it kind of got illuminated for me was because as a Christian, I want to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to make sure I'm living like I'm supposed to be living. So I'm going to take you on a journey to kind of show you another illustration that God gave me. But while I do, I want to talk about what it means for me to produce fruit. When you first come into this understanding of Christianity, producing fruit is kind of more focused in your life than really anywhere else, because you've got to learn what it means to be a Christian. And that first passion you have when you first fall in love with Christ is, it's kind of invigorating. It's kind of addictive, if it makes any sense. I mean, you get to a point where you're just on fire all the time. And sometimes as you get older as a Christian, you kind of lose some of that fire. Well, at least that's what I've heard. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever lost that fire. I don't think it's something that has just gone away with time. In fact, I'm pretty much on fire most of the times. I think the only time I wouldn't be is, if there's some kind of drama or something going on at work. But for the most part, I've remained in love with Jesus most of my Christian life. There will be ups and downs and things like that, but anyhow, the reason I bring this up is because I started to look at my life, and I started to review the fruit that I have in my life. Not so much to compare with anyone else as much as to try to understand, am I really living this life that God's called me to live? And am I being the Christian that I'm supposed to be? Fruit is bringing other people to know Christ and bringing things in your life under the submission of Christ. When you do those things, the passion you have for God gets strengthened, and over time, the more close you get to Christ, the more people and the more situations you find yourself in will also show evidence of Christ. And eventually, the idea is that when you go through life, that people don't see you, that they see Christ, that people don't focus on you, that they focus on Christ. I try to live that way, but obviously I'm human just like anyone else. And I look at the places in my life where I haven't produced much fruit. And I think if we don't look at our lives in a way where we plan things out and we try to achieve the goals that we have, we miss them. So when you find those periods in your life where you've produced little fruit, or you know that there's times when you kind of been self-centered or self-focused, or maybe your passion wasn't where it needed to be, try to figure out what you can do to prevent that from happening. Try to focus on how you can stop the world from encroaching on who you are. When you do that, you find yourself like this tree, covered in fruit. So much fruit. And let me kind of illustrate what I mean by what God's shown me today. This is a man who drank every night to get to sleep and was running from God. And he found his relationship with God to be closer. This is a man who wasn't raised around Christianity much, and it wasn't spoken about. But he found Christ within the last few years, and he started to dedicate himself to Christ, and he started to focus on the Bible and bringing other people to an understanding of Christ. These three here are different women that have known Christ throughout their lives, but weren't totally in love with Christ like they are today. These women were people that you would think were just absolute angels, but their relationship with Christ was not as strong as it is today. These are my children who, throughout their lives, I've been doing my best since I've been a Christian to teach them what it means to be a Christian and what it means to fall in love with Jesus and how they're supposed to produce fruit like this. There's some homeless people in here. There's some people that I've worked with in children's ministry. There's fruit all over this tree, and I'm not bragging on me. I'm bragging on what God has done with my life, because I am also one of these fruits. I am also one of these. Here is a boy who was raised in a household where there was abuse, and there was pain, and there was frustration, and he didn't trust anybody. And that fruit is me. That fruit was me because God changed my life, and he found me, and he brought me to an understanding of what real life meant. If you really want to be a Christian, if you really want to stand up and say, God, I follow you, and Jesus, you are Lord of my life, then our goal and all of the rest of our days is not for us to make enough money. It's not for us to get through this life with comfort and ease. It's not anything more than for us to produce fruit for Jesus, to help people find their way to living with the Lord in heaven, to finding a way to teaching people to have a passion for Christ that would change their lives, that would produce more fruit. It's supposed to spread like a virus. Today, as you walk through your life, as you go and talk to the different people you talk to, as you do the different things you do, remind yourself that you're supposed to be producing fruit. Remind yourself that your goal in life, because you're a follower of Christ, is to bring people to him on a regular basis, as many as possible, so that you look like a fruit tree that is full of fruit, so that you look like a mature tree, that the whole focus of the tree is on the fruit. That's what God gave me this morning, guys. God bless y'all. Love you.